Nice. Hey, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with Legacy Maverick. This is pretty close to the list that we played on, I'm going to say Thursday night, which we were fortunate enough to trophy with, which is really cool. This is a little bit different. We are playing Plurukronos? I can never say the name. Plurukronos, which is a gift from Matsol for their trade-in of Zenith targets, which is very cool. Hey, Dr. No, a huge thank you for the Prime sub. That means a lot. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy Maverick, if you play Legacy, what do you play in Legacy? This is, a list that I've been working on. It is playing the main deck Abrupt Decays and Plague Engineer for the Black Splash, and then Thoughtseize and Azel's Persecution in the board alongside a Kaya. Kaya was super relevant in the matchups where we played it on Friday night. It's really nice as extra graveyard hate where I don't want to bring in the ley lines. So some of the Uro decks, some of the decks where they might use their graveyard like Rug Delver. And of course Kaya is also removal, which is nice, so hitting things like Delver. It was awesome against Elves. It's really good against the other fair matchups with Mana Dorks and Mother of Runes. Obviously taking out something like an Aether Vial is pretty big as well. But yeah, I did just cut a mum because I wanted to make room for the Plurukronos, but didn't really want to hit anything else. I was going to take out a Mana Dork, but I really like the 5 split. And Double Birds means that I have extra access to black mana, which is kind of crucial here. You're from North Carolina. New to Legacy, just got my first duels for Punishing Maverick. Very cool. Your Twitch and YouTube has been a huge help in learning the deck. Very nice. Very cool to hear. Punishing Mav is a sweet deck to start on, which I do want to come back to as well when I get back into it. Yeah, so Kaya was definitely a lot better when it had targets like Astrolabe, Food, Dreadhorde targets, but I still think it's pretty relevant. I've been playing against a bunch of lands decks, and Kaya is really good at not only pressuring the graveyard, but also dealing with things like Mox Diamond, Exploration, Elvish Reclaimer. And it's just a nice threat to have against some of the control decks where you do want to apply pressure through more than just creatures. And being a 3-drop walker, it is one we can get down turn 2, which is pretty nice. I would definitely say Kaya isn't as impactful as she was in the previous meta, but I think that there's still a slot for her. The other thing I was thinking about was just a second Scavenging Ooze in the board for, again, decks where I don't want to bring in the ley lines, but do use the graveyard as a resource. But yeah, Kaya's been pretty good so far. Even something like... we're going to get to it. Bug Hogak. Obviously, ley lines are super powerful, but a lot of the hate they're bringing in is answering ley line. So if we can also have Kaya there to get rid of things like Hedron Crabs and exiling Stitcher Supplier is pretty huge as well. And then, of course, hitting things like Gravecrawler and other small things is pretty nice. Hey, Ben. Welcome. Let's get into this. Let's see how this goes. Plurukronos should be pretty interesting. I know that Matsol has had some really good success with it in his kind of Sylvan Plug style decks. A lot of green-black sort of ramp decks that play big creatures like Plurukronos. I do like it that it's a removal spell, so in a way, Plurukronos, I'm just going to call it Poly. Poly can... be a Green Sun's target that is also a removal spell in a way, which is kind of nice. And it is pretty hard to deal with outside of decks that are playing Swords to Plowshares, so should be pretty sweet. Also just a really nice creature to play against decks that might bring in Rest in Peace. That obviously new to the effect of Neither Reliquary as a beater, but Poly should do some good work. Alright, Legacy League, play points, nice. Nice. Very cool. Go to the in-game. Make me a bit smaller. Nice. Hope you're all doing well. We currently have a long weekend here in Australia, which is nice, so get tomorrow and Monday off, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, especially because Pluricanos can be activated at instant speed. That's where I really like it. So if my opponent has some sort of removal spell, they kind of have to be a little bit close to it. Sorry, they have to be a little bit cautious of it. Is it a long weekend for May Day? I believe it is. I believe it is. I know that Eternal Weekend's coming up in Melbourne, which is also on a long weekend. But I think that's the Queen's birthday long weekend, or the one after it. But yeah, luckily had 2 in a row, which is kind of nice. Alright, up against Slobia. This is an interesting hand, because it does allow us to accelerate turn 1, but it just gives us access to double green, which I think is okay, especially with the Sylvan Library in hand. If we don't find a white source within the first 2 turns, I'm going to assume Sylvan Library finds it, so pretty happy to keep this. The Queen's birthday is a long weekend. Volk Pass. I don't mind Wasteland upkeep, just to play around Stifle. If they do have Stifle, they have to do it in their turn, which kind of taps them off the Volk anyway. And knowing about Stifle is pretty big. Okay. Well, that's a pretty good win. Scalding Tarn Pass. Okay. Dried Up are a little bit loose here. Obviously open to Daze, Lightning Bolt. But this getting the Sylvan Library down would be huge. Volk. Okay. Pyro is pretty strong. Forest is nice. Daze is okay. Pyro definitely an issue for green-white variants, where you don't have access to something like Plague Engineer, because it can just go wide so fast. But hopefully we can draw into removal shortly. It's tough because our mana base currently doesn't support it. I'm just going to get Noble down here and not play Ramanap, because I want to get white online, and I also want to get value out of Ramanap. Most likely just play it and then play Dried Arbor from the bin. Just a pass. Okay. Knight of Autumn. I don't mind just Knight here as a 4/4. There's also a world where I want to get back Wasteland with Ramanap, but I think Knight just being a 4/4 is great, because it plays around like an end-step Bolt. Brazen Borrower would be really strong for my opponent here. Yeah. Now it's going to be quite tough, because we can play the Knight of Autumn defensively to gain 4 life. Whenever I say something would be strong, it happens. Yeah, it's a little bit tough. They're going to combat. I am going to Wasteland the Volk here. Just so they have to use it in combat. Okay. Thalia probably just isn't good enough here. But I probably want to play around Daze. If I play the Thalia, they need a removal spell to attack with the Young Pyromancer. We take 6 if they attack with everything, and go down to 2. We can then untap, play the Knight of Autumn, and gain some life. Definitely don't feel safe. Just one of those draws where I've drawn the kind of wrong side of the deck. Don't really want Questing Beast or Knight in my hand. I'd rather have, obviously, removal for these creatures. And the double forest is a little bit rough. But opponent here could just find Bolt and end it with a red source. Yep. Alright. I do like Path. I do like Zealous. Kai is interesting. I rather just the chokes. I like taking out the one library, one Teeg, one Knight. Hey Lynn Chalice, welcome. I hope you're doing well. They didn't see any black cards, which is definitely relevant. I do like the 4 Thalias on the play, so I will keep all 4 in. It might just be a 4-drop between Questing Beast and Plurikinos. I think it's going to be Plurikinos here. As good as it is, the bounce effect of Brazen Borrow is pretty tough, so at least Questing Beast being able to attack this turn it comes down is pretty good. See how this goes. I think this matchup's definitely gotten a lot better with Dreadhorde out of the format. We have some great ways to deal with their go wide strategy of Young Pyromancer. Abrupt Decay is obviously a really nice removal spell in this matchup. And knowing we're up against what looks to be just Blue-Red Delver, hopefully we should be fine in these games. This is a pretty nice hand, I'll keep this. Hey GR, welcome. Hope you're well. I could go for a basic early on. I also kind of need the Verdant right now for my black source if I draw into a black card, so happy to go Noble into Thalia. The one card that is ticking up in popularity is Forked Bolt, which his hand is very, very good against. Or which Forked Bolt's very good against. Hey Gav, very well, thank you. If anyone's looking for some other Maverick content, definitely check out Basic Swamps. Just a Bolt? Okay, that's actually a good sign. Probably means they don't run Fork Bolt, or at least don't have access to it yet. I'm pretty happy sticking with Savannah here. If I'm going to draw into a black card, I'm not going to be able to cast it with Thalia out and without another land, so I don't mind just Savannah. Learning Lynn Chalice's list. Nice. It's a very good list to go off. Lynn Chalice has been having a pretty exceptional run with Green, White, Black Depths. Script range is nice. Means we can keep some pressure going by playing Scrib. Untap Thalia, return Savannah. Play Savannah, play Hex. They're gonna force that. Okay. It's fine. So Force on Hex most likely means they either have maybe another removal spell in Bolt, but they don't want to have to be pressured by Hex Trinket if they're going after the Thalia. Script Range is really nice. Big fan of it. True Name is more than fine. Best draw is probably just Cradle. Cradle would allow us to play the Ooze and then take it up to a 4/4 straight away. But a Noble isn't too bad either. Play the Ooze. Attack with Scrib. Untap Scrib, return the Savannah. Play Savannah, play Noble. I do want to get to a stage where I can maybe get Questing Beast on the field, which obviously just races the True Name really well. And Scrib allows me to get 2 mana out of Noble and 2 mana out of one of my Savannahs, so I'm only 1 land off. I do have to replay the Savannah, so I'm kind of 2 turns away from Green Suns. Expressive Iteration. Interesting. This is a new card that looks really cool. So it's look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, put one of them at the bottom of your library, and exile one of them. You may play the exiled card this turn. So if the exiled card is a land, they can play it, but otherwise they need a land, and then... yeah, it's a little bit tough if they want to play the exiled spell because of Thalia. Especially seeing they're tapped out, so... interesting to see how they get value off this, other than just a 1-for-1. Wasteland. Oh, that's fine. Bayou. Okay. Well. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm happy just ticking up this Hex. Oh, sorry, ticking up this Ooze to a 4/4. I will play the Bayou. And then just attack with Scrib Ranger. I probably also want to eat some of their graveyard, just in case of the big whale. I always forget its name. Some people call it Belly Whale, I believe. Alright. Spelly Belly? There we go. I like Spelly Belly. That's a good one. Hopefully the music isn't too loud either. I did have one comment from my YouTube channel from a previous league where the music was a bit high. But hopefully it's okay. Definitely feeling good about our position. Relic is okay. I don't want to do anything here. Music volume is good? Nice. Ah, I didn't know that about Plurikonos preventing damage. Very cool. 3, 4, 5, 6. Interesting. So I can Green Suns here for Questing Beast, but it doesn't play around days. So I'm pretty happy just to keep playing kind of a fair fight here. Nice. Alright. Can attack for 2 in the air with the Scrib Ranger. Scrib Ranger really nice here, just allowing us to put some early pressure on the opponent even though they have a True Name. Just having a fly is really nice. And just because of Spell Belly, I'm pretty happy to tap out here. Or maybe even just the 1. Just holding up Source Splashes here and also playing around days with Scrib Ranger untapping Noble. Bolt on Mum. That is going to be okay. Pretty happy just to eat Bolt here. And also eat the mum while the relic's tapped out. Just kind of best practice. The sword isn't relevant on the board here, so I'm pretty happy just to tap out. Brainstorm's okay. Ah, Ben, I like that. Stomp would deal effectively double damage to Pluricnos because it removes 2 counters and damage can't be prevented. Nice. I kind of hope they tap out here for something. They're going to ponder. That's fine. What are they going to ponder for? They also tap the Wastelands. That gives us an out to actually use our Scrib Ranger pretty effectively. The one thing I was not too concerned about is that if I use Scrib Ranger, they can then just wasteland another land and I can't use Scrib Ranger's ability to save it. Alright, this is a big turn. Path, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, land, 6. Green Suns. Nice. Questing Beast. Alright. Now we do get to attack with everything here, which is really nice. Because there's no way for True Name to kill any of our threats. Thalia has First Strike and Scavenging Ooze is a 5/5. So pretty tough spot for my opponent. Nice. Kind of tough. I didn't want to show the black. I really like playing as a green-white deck and not showing the black until I have to use it. But I did need to use the bio as a land drop, so... do I want to change anything? I don't think I do. We've seen threats in True Name, Brazen Borrower, Delver, Young Pyromancer. I don't think Kaya is relevant. They didn't see Choke, which is pretty nice. I'm probably pretty happy to send this back. So they couldn't block and kill Thalia because of Questing Beast saying combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented, means that True Name's clause of protection doesn't work. So if they block Thalia, First Strike occurs, First Strike kills the True Name, and then in normal combat the True Name isn't there to deal damage to Thalia, which is kind of nice. So Questing Beast being really nice against True Name. I'm just going to submit the same list. I think on the draw, I want to have a pretty removal-heavy hand, just to make sure I don't fall behind like turn 1 Delver, turn 2 Pyromancer. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So it also means that if you attack with a Questing Beast and another Reliquary, and they Maze of Ith another Reliquary, it still deals damage because Maze of Ith isn't a removal spell in a way. It's just a... it doesn't remove it from combat, it just prevents combat, which is kind of cool. I'm pretty happy to keep this. It has good mana acceleration off a forest, and then Thalia is pretty good as well. Just, again, a card like Forkbolt, really good here. But I'd much rather see like a turn 1 Ponder, or a Relic. I mean, this hand does nothing, Relic does nothing as this hand, so this is a pretty nice start for us. A great Acroma? A great Acroma. Daze is fine. Yeah, I've definitely seen an uptick in Forkbolt. I've seen a lot of a lot of blue-red lists playing 2 alongside 4 Bolt. I don't mind just Noble here, but playing Thalia is also interesting, seeing they've already played a Daze. But if I did play Thalia here, I'd probably play it off the Savannah to keep the Windswept Heath for a black source. Pretty happy to take it slow here. I didn't see your screenshot. I will have to. Just a pass. Okay. I'm going to play Thalia first. Brainstorm's okay. I don't want to play the land first because my opponent might be thinking about Caracas. So like I have to counter the Thalia, but obviously not. The other question here is, do I want to use a green suns here to actually ramp up to with Dried Arbor, but that does put my black source at risk, so I am just going to pass. Because we have open end step Swords to Plowshares, and then if they tap out for a True Name, we have Plague Engineer that can't be countered thanks to Thalia. So from a threat perspective, we're in a pretty good position. And I think from a mana perspective, we're also in a pretty good position, so I don't think I need to use a Green Suns for Dried Arbor. A land and fetch most likely means a 3-drop in something like True Name, so pretty happy to see this. Yeah, that's more than fine. I think Wasteland's just the best draw. Zealous is also pretty cool, but I do like that Zealous is really good against Young Pyromancer because it hits both Young Pyromancer and Elementals. I think I'm happy here to go... Yeah, this is the online artwork, which is definitely interesting. How can I use my mana effectively? I kind of want to get Scrib Ranger. Just to turn off this Wasteland. Especially seeing that I have multiple ways to deal with True Name, but... I think I'm actually okay to just go for it here. We'll go for Bayou because we have 2. Play Plague. I will name Rogue because Rogue also hits Brazen Borrower. And then get in for 3. I have got some remastered alternate border cards. I do like Thoughtseize. I do like Bojuka Bog. I do like Hexmage. I do like Leyline. I don't mind the Abrupt Decay and Kusali and Knight of the Reliquary, but the gold is a little bit different to the norm. Okay. Okay. I don't mind holding up a Zealous Persecution to play against Blazing Volley. I think that's the play. And I probably just want to build up my mana a little bit. I could also just hold up Swords to Plowshares and Zealous. I could also hold up Draw a Card. I think I'm happy actually to do nothing. You got Kusali, Knight of the Reliquary? Very cool. Yeah, if I can beat Blazing Volley, I'd be very happy. Nothing? Alright, well I'm happy to draw a card here. Noble. Alright. Let's attack again. Stomp. Ooh. Haha! Okay, now I'm pretty happy to actually save it with Zealous Persecution. Nice. Do they have the Force? Oh, Submerged Thalia. Interesting. That's going to be okay. Now they want to force... No. No, it resolves. Nice. Very cool. Stomp is interesting because it isn't a way to also deal with opposing true names if they block your creatures. But yeah, it is pretty interesting. I do like that it's both both a removal spell and a creature, but this is more than fine. Okay. I have 3 cards left. I'm gonna see if I can get a Scrib Ranger here. Nice. Untap, return. Play this. I think I just like Thalia pass. I don't really want to trade the Plague with the Bone Crusher. I'm also at 19 life, so I'm not too scared of it being a threat. The double Wasteland on me also puts them back from something like, you know, Ponder, yeah, or Brainstorm into something else that's a 3-drop. I would love to see a Scrib Ranger that wasn't just activate only once each turn. I would love to see it just open and see how wild you could go. I assume it would nearly see play in Elves. Maybe not. It would be cool as a non-elf creature to be played in Elves. If you, I guess returning a forest is a pretty big task, but Dried Up is a forest, so it would be interesting if there wasn't a clause on it. Yeah, Bone Crusher in Standard seems pretty good. Just such an effective card. Delver's fine. Alright. They didn't attack, which is interesting. Because I think surely they can see that we have Thalia. Let's attack first. Okay. Probably just going to go for Hex Drinker here. Yeah, Dies to Stomp seems pretty relevant right now, especially in Standard. Opponent most likely just cashing in this Relic at end step. Really need to dig for something. Brainstorm's fine. Again, this is where Blazing Volley would be pretty absurd. It would get rid of Noble, Scrib Ranger, Thalia, Hex Drinker. So it's a card I very much respect. They don't have a fetch land, which is big as well. So unless they have something, they're just stuck. Decay. Okay. Well, pretty happy to tick up Hex and see what they do. kind of have to bolt this or bounce it. It's so good that this also turns off Brazen Burrow's bounce effect. Bolt. Okay. Hey D3, welcome. I think again I'm happy just to attack with Thalia. And then probably just play the knight, seeing that the relic is off the table. Pretty happy just to untap and see if I can draw into a source for Abrupt Decay. Wasteland isn't it, but that's okay. Oh, I guess we have we do have Knight, so we can just go. Maybe there's a way I can actually attack with the Knight this turn as well if I get Dried Arbor first. So I need 3 mana for Abrupt Decay. And I need 2 for Green Suns for Dried Arbor. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what if we float mana first? No, because I want to use the Script Ranger to untap the Knight. Okay. Basic Swarms might have it. Do I Green Suns for Arbor first? Just play Waste. Play Waste. I guess I could attack with everything as well, and then see how they block. I think it works out well either way. I'm going to try it this way. I think we're in a pretty good spot, no matter what. This can't be Force of Willed either, which is really nice. And now we get to untap the Knight and attack with all, which is pretty sweet. And save the Black Source, which is kind of cool. Nice. Nice. Always nice to get up against Delver. I do think we're in a pretty good position for the matchup, but they can definitely come out of the gates pretty quickly. I think the issue for my opponent was that the turn 1 Relic just didn't do anything against the hand that we had, and that we weren't relying on threats that were just neither Reliquary or Scavenging Ooze or Ramanap, so... Nice. Nice, nice. That was a long, grindy game. Very interesting. Thanks, T3. I'm gonna get some water quickly. I'll be back in a second. Right. Nice. You haven't caught it yet, definitely check out the newest Maverick matchup series with Albert Lindblom on lands for the Maverick vs. Lands matchup, which you can find on the Green Sun Zenith or here. Nice. That's a pretty interesting match. I think the biggest advantage for us was having Thalia out when we cast the True Name Nemesis. Why is this deck Maverick? Do you mean like why is it called Maverick? I believe that the creator of the deck had the username Maverick with an @ sign. Luis. You can find out more here, but where is it? Luis Viciano. I believe that was his name. Some do say that Maverick is called Maverick because Maverick kind of means like left field, like not really something mainstream, which when the deck first came onto like the SCG circuit in 2011, 2012, a lot of people didn't expect it coming out of Europe, so people called it Maverick because it was, yeah, something that was against the norm, I guess. But I like to think it was because the deck's creator's name was Maverick. Whew. All right, up against M. Demar. Neighbor. This is a pretty sweet hand. We have mana acceleration, we have a threat, we have removal, we had card advantage. Pretty much a perfect hand. Obviously not that great against maybe something like Mono Red Stompy, but getting the bird out early is pretty good, so I'm going to keep this. Pretty happy to get a basic as well if we can. Thoughtseize, Ponder. Alright. If they shuffle here, I'm definitely wastelanding. They chose to shuffle. Righto. Well, if I'm ever going to wasteland a turn 1 Underground Sea, it is right now. Two lands for my opponent. So I'm thinking Storm or Doomsday. I'm not thinking a fair deck, which his hand isn't great against. It really relies on the Sylvan Library to dig for something. Interesting. Grixis Control. Sylvan Library here is going to be fantastic. I'm going to get a Scrubland. I don't think that's greedy, but it definitely could be. So maybe here I do just want to go for a basic in case they do play Jewels. Because if they daze or force the Sylvan Library, then Wasteland us, we're in a really big pickle. So I actually think just making sure my mana base is pretty consistent and something I can rely on, I'm pretty happy about that. This game's most likely going to go long, so... Force negation, pitch, brainstorm. Okay. Strix is fine. Opponent missed a land drop. That's pretty huge. Force. Wow, okay. Pitching brainstorm as well, so that's one more cantrip they can't actually try to jam with. Oh, this feels like a Gomag Angler. Oh, another Strix. Okay. Maybe Strix into Gomag? Green Suns. Okay. Happy just to play the Knight here. Getting Wasteland online is pretty huge. Maybe they have Fatal Push in hand. Fatal Push is a nice clean answer to Knight. Cling to Dust. Okay. They still have the Cling, so the Cling is something that I have to be wary of. No attacks. Okay. So they're holding up the Cling. No, they're not. They only have this mana. Okay. What if we go... Okay. This is interesting. I do want to have the second black source. Oh, the only black source. My thoughts are... Float mana, Wasteland my opponent, and then get Ramanap and get Wasteland back for turn. But then I can't because I have to play the Scrub land. So I think here it's just a case of land, hold up swords, play another Knight. I'm going to force that, pitching Hull Breacher. Okay. That's more than fine. Pretty happy to Wasteland them here. Probably off the Underground Sea. Try to get them off black for things like Fatal Push and Gomag Angler. We do have the swords for it, which is pretty good, but... Snap is okay. Probably Snap hitting Ponder. Okay. Hey, did be a donut. Welcome. Good to see you. I hope you're having a nice weekend. Public holiday weekends are definitely the best. Big fan of them. What does Ponder do? Chose to shuffle. It's good for us. Play a land. Attack with both. Interesting. Maybe they feel like we're just going to hold back the Knight. I'm going to keep the sword for now. Plague. That's pretty good. Bird, bird, human. I'm in Queensland. I guess I could go for Scrib Ranger off Green Suns. Because I can get Cradle. But I kind of feel like I just want to... I think I do just want to waste the heck out of them. I'm going to do that now off the Dryad Arbor. I just keep going after black. I could definitely be more patient and try to get Ramen up online, but I think I'm pretty happy with them only with one card in hand. Savannah, okay. Hmm. 1, 2. Sack this. Cradle. 3, 4. They have one card. Nice. Ramanap. Back Wasteland. Love it. Love it. Love it. Grixis is going to be an interesting one. I do like the chokes. The Kaya is interesting. I don't think I want the Kaya. The ley lines are interesting. Ley lines really just shutting down Gurma Gangler, and small things like Cling to Dust and Snapcaster Mage, but I don't think that's enough. I think I'd rather the Kaya than the ley lines. I also like the Zealous Persecution because it deals with things like Baleful Strix and Snapcaster Mage. I don't want the Teeg. I'm going to drop down on a Thalia, especially seeing I can definitely see Plague Engineer coming in. I don't mind dropping a Sword for the Zealous. And then it might just be the Cradle, because Grixis usually has a lot of 1-for-1 removal that's really solid, so I don't think I'm going to be in a situation where I'm fortunate enough for Cradle to be online as well as I like. Thoughtseize is always interesting as a try to get a 1-for-1 or take something like a Colligan's command, but I think that's okay. I could drop down on more swords to be fair, and maybe bring in like a Knight of Autumn can probably come out as well. I don't mind 2 Thoughtseize. Grixis is usually a deck that is better. Yeah, I really like Nissa because the untapped target land you control until your next turn it becomes a 5/5 elemental creature with haste. Gives Wasteland a really nice role in matchups where Wasteland isn't that important. So things like blue-white control or BANT control where they have up to 7 or 8 basics. I like it because it means you don't have to cut on Wasteland so much, which means you're going to be hitting a land every turn, which is nice, and then hopefully getting to a stage where you can cast something like Nissa in the mid to late game. But it's definitely interesting. Maybe I'll try one out. They are playing Cling, which obviously makes the return pretty tough. I'm gonna go with this and see how it slides. I do like Thoughtseize pinging something like a Liliana Last Hope. That'd be pretty strong. I don't mind this. It's a 1-lander with acceleration into Sylvan Library again. So we also have a few turns to draw into our 3rd land. So I'm pretty happy to keep this. Opponent kept 7 as well. Underground Sea Pass. Okay. Forest. Alright. I'm going to keep up Wasteland here. And probably just Wasteland and upkeep. So that if they do have Stifle for some reason, they cast it on their turn. Haha, too kind, Gav. Speaking of which. Nice. If you're going to wear yours, I'm going to wear mine. Ponder chose not to shuffle. Okay. Fetch is perfect. We could also be fashionably and warm. Hey, K Basso, welcome. I hope you're doing well. Bolt's fine. Pretty happy. This is an interesting one. Because I have the Thalia and the third land for Sylvan Library, I'm pretty happy to actually fetch here for Scrubland, get all my colors online, and cast Thalia first. Because I'd much rather see Thalia get hit by a Force of Will than Sylvan Library, seeing that my opponent has so many outs to creatures, and especially X1 humans. So the brainstorm here most likely finding a removal spell, probably Plague Engineer for the Thalia. Yep. Okay. I do like just getting down Sylvan Library. They were playing Hull Breacher, which is interesting, so I do have to consider that. I assume it was taken out. The older float white, take it back. Not a viable strategy for competitive Magic, but might as well. Petty Theft is pretty strong. I wonder if they play him to Turak. Underground Sea here into him would be pretty good, especially if it takes these two. No. Maybe Engineered Explosives. No, okay, Baleful Strix, that's fine. Wasteland's interesting. I don't mind Sylvan Library first. Green Suns for Dried Arbor. And then take them off their second black source in Badlands. Hey Apple Pies, a huge thank you for the raid. What did you just play? And how did you go? This is more than fine. Hey, pretty well. It is currently just after lunch on a Sunday, and we're playing some Legacy, playing some Maverick, which is always fun. What's this gonna be? Gomag, perhaps? Okay. It's gonna be fine. It depends if we find like a Swords to Plowshares here. Put on top. I don't mind putting this on top as well. Pay 4, go to 10. We play Plague Engineer and name Rogue, so they can't cast the Brazen Borrower, and then we have a blocker for the Gomag. I don't think we have the luxury of that. Winota Stompy, very cool. 3-2-4-1-2-3. Nice. Winota seems really strong. Could also play Questing Beast, but I think that it's better just to get the Plague down. So this is the thing. If they have removal, I want to name Baleful Strix, or I want to name Bird, so I actually get value off the Plague Engineer before they cast the Brazen Borrower. But if they cast the Brazen Borrower next turn, untap, and then remove the Plague Engineer, I'm pretty much taking near lethal. But I think I just lose to the Borrower if I don't just pass here. Brainstorm. It's been a pretty aggressive start from Grixis, just from a creature perspective. And because of the plagues, I might bring back in some amount of swords if we do see them in, if there is a game 3. Knight could also block Angler. It's very true. Maybe I should have respected Knight more. It would have been a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It would have been a 5-5 because of the Plague Engineer on human, so it wouldn't have traded with it. I'm going to discard the Beast. I think Knight's just a bit better. I'm just going to fetch up second white source. Yikes. Plague Engineer really strong here. Gonna be game. I could block, but I don't think that's a great play. I'm gonna bring back in the 2 swords. Drop the Thoughtseizers. I think this is gonna be okay. This will be fine. I could see like 1 swords dropped, but maybe we'll try out Nissa on the play. I do want to bring it in against more decks and see how it goes, so maybe there's a world where Nissa is actually pretty good. Even if the 5/5 land can keep a Gomag at bay, that's pretty nice. It's also a kind of payoff if we do flood a little bit, because then we can actually make use of extra mana. This is a 1-lander, but the turn 2 library is just so good. I am going to keep it. It's a little bit risky, but sometimes you got to risk it for the biscuit. Then we're down to 6 cards. Thoughtseize probably takes Sylvan Library. Oof. I don't mind that. But do I want to play down a creature here? That's the big question. I think I like Green Suns for Noble Hierarch. See if they force this, because they might think we're low on mana. This is pretty greedy as well if this doesn't work out. Because I do want to wasteland them as well. But if I keep them off resources for as long as possible, maybe there's a world where I can just draw another land and then play a 3-3. Or a 2-3. Plerukanos was a... Oh, EE for 1's pretty good. I guess we do have the Abrupt Decay here if we don't draw a land. Yeah. I do just want to get rid of this. Yeah, it was a channel point. So for 30k channel points, you can add a Zenith target to my deck, and Matt Sol chose to put Plerukanos in there, which is pretty cool. Forcing the Brainstorm, which is nice. There was a play where I could just play the Thalia out because they didn't play a land last turn. So if they did have the mana for Engineered Explosives, they'd have to get it. I don't mind Thalia here. And then Green Suns for Dried Arbor perhaps next turn if I'm really stuck on mana. I haven't seen the new spoiler. Green Planeswalker that counts as a creature in your deck. Interesting. This is fine. Interesting. Just one of those games. Wow. Yes. Now we can go and get Dried Arbor. Please be a Ponder. Yes, so good. Because now we can get Night Online next turn. We could also get Ramanap Get Back Wasteland. Ramanap Get Back Wasteland is huge, especially if they don't find a land here. Yeah, Ramanap getting back Wasteland seems so much better than Knight, especially seeing Knight's also in the position of dying to a Bolt. That I'd rather just play Ramanap and get back value straight away. Yeah. What does Ponder do? Chose to not shuffle, play an island. Okay. Nice. Delta's fine. Delta kind of has to deal with the Ramanap if they're not getting... I guess they could get basic Swamp here. And then maybe play Plague Engineer? Okay. That's fine. I do still want to play the Wasteland here. And pass back. I didn't need to fetch there. Pond is okay. Okay, they must have shuffled. Unless they kept the top card, then shuffled the rest. Chose to shuffle, okay. Yeah, I think Canopy is pretty good here. Canopy is pretty nice. And then probably to start getting fetches and jewels and just try to attack for lethal at some point. But if they don't find a land here, there is also the case of just getting a wasteland myself and then attacking with everything, which would mean that I have lethal. They chose to shuffle, chose to shuffle. This is just lethal even if we get Canopy, because then we can wasteland ourselves the following turn to make the knights 5/5s. So if they block one here, they still take 7. Looking pretty good. What's the clause in Fatal Push? I guess there is a world where Cling to Dust saves them. No, it doesn't, because he's become 6/6s. Yeah, this is fine. Nice. Nice! Very cool. Whew. Clutch. Scary. Scary stuff. Scary stuff. Grixis is always pretty interesting, especially with their 1-for-1 removal. And new cards like the 2 mana Rampage that makes me sack a creature, a planeswalker, or an artifact is pretty strong. Kind of like a better Dreadbore. I guess the only upside of Dreadbore is that you get to target the creature, whereas your opponent gets to sack their worst creature, or worst planeswalker, or worst artifact. Oof. Hey Epic, is there Legacy on today in Melbourne? I saw some people wanting to borrow some cards in the weekly Legacy in Melbourne Facebook page. We'll play first here. I don't mind this hand. It's pretty aggressive. How was the first match? Pretty good. We played against Blue-Red Delver. Went down for game 1 to just a really quick Young Pyromancer start. And then games 2 and 3 just had a nice control of the board. At Games Portal? Cool, okay. Hey, Robin Hood. $11 players. Thalia is pretty perfect here. Attack first and then just play Thalia. Thalia is actually a perfect draw because I did want a turn 2 play. That wasn't just try to tick up Hex Drinker. I'm actually going to go play the Canopy and hide the Wasteland for now. Hey, Dark Cloud. Yeah, pretty lucky, which is nice. Just a basic island. Interesting. They smell Wasteland. They're gonna force this. Okay. That's not too bad. Hexdrinker are kind of nice, because it kind of makes them keep up removal. Sprite Dragon, okay. They just don't care about the Hexdrinker. Interesting. Maybe they think they can race it? Maybe they have True Name Nemesis? I do like just making this a 4/4. I'm not going to play around like Gut Shot. I guess like Fork Bolt Chain Lightning does it. I guess they could go True Name. But we do have outs to that. Just Delver. Okay. Another Sprite. Okay. 2 cards left for opponent. I guess if I can Green Suns for Hexdrinker here, that's pretty huge. Sorry, for Scrib Ranger. And I am going to play around Daze. Surely they don't have double Daze. Maybe they do. I will just get a Bayou and pay for this. To be fair, I should have floated a white. What cards am I most scared of out of Blue Red Delver? Sprite Dragon's pretty good. Sprite Dragon's really good if they can protect it, because it can just get out of hand very quickly. Happy just to pass back here. Yeah, flyers are really strong. No flip is pretty fantastic for us, because it means that they have to have a removal spell for the Sprite Dragon, not to trade it with the Delver. Forge is not the worst, because we do have swords. Oh, do we just have lethal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have lethal if they don't Wasteland us. Yeah. You kind of get a free attack there with the 2/2, but I can see why they're holding it back. Cradle? Cradle would be sweet. Cradle would do it. Swords. Still pretty good, let's be honest. They're holding Island from Daze? Okay. I don't mind attack with both. And then just swords the Forager and hold up a swords. Hey WC Edge, thanks for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what you play in Legacy? I definitely can't tick up this Hexdrinker. 1, 2, 3, 4, puts it to 7, yeah. Definitely attack for 5. And see how they block. Ah, I should have definitely played the land first so I could double swords. Just in case they put like everything in front of the hex. That was a huge mistake. I guess not. To be fair, we have these knights as well that we can play, so if they do want to put like Sprite, Forager in front, or literally everything, then we come out of it pretty well, but they're going to do nothing. Okay. Alright, let's play Savannah. Swords this. Yeah, okay. Blue-red Delver. I like the chokes. I like the path. I don't like Teeg. I don't like Knight. And I don't like Sylvan Library. I think this is fine. I'll keep the Pluricanos in there because if the game goes long and there are just flyers that are just chunking in damage, we can deal with them thanks to the fight ability. Zealous is definitely interesting. If they are playing True Name, then Zealous is nice. I don't believe they'll be playing Young Pyromancer with Sprite Dragon, but they definitely could be. Zealous also means we could potentially trade a Scrib Ranger with a, or kill a Delver with a Scrib Ranger. Yeah, maybe Pluricanos is just a little bit too high up. I'm just going to bring in the Zealous for shenanigans. This is a matchup where I really want to have a basic heavy start into Mana Dorks. So like 2 Mana Dorks and a basic I'll definitely keep. And some sort of removal in my opener. But it is a tightrope because if you use your Swords to Plowshares on early Delvers and Sprite Dragons, you then have Abrupt Decays left over for their Whales, which obviously don't hit. So you have to be pretty patient with your Swords to Plowshares because it is so good at hitting everything other than True Name if they play True Name. So it's a little bit like Dreadhorde where the Delver matchup changed a bit for Maverick where you used to just, you know, kill a threat on sight. But now you kind of have to take a few hits from, say, a Delver before you crack a Swords to Plowshares on it because you don't really want to use the Swords on it. You'd rather use the Abrupt Decay. This is a hand that I'm probably happy to mulligan. Just because it's a Savannah. I can definitely see this not working out for us. Okay, this is actually a pretty fine hand. I'll keep this. And I think I just bottom the second Mum. I mean, Mum into Scrib Ranger is pretty backbreaking. Opponent kept 7. Nothing. Nothing is interesting. I guess in this hand, because we draw the Swords to Plowshares, I don't mind Forest into Green Suns for Arbor to see if they bolt it, because then that's one less bolt they have for the Mum. We did see Spell Pierce in game 1 as well. I don't believe they'd keep that in, but could be something we see. This also gives me time to draw into a Windswept Heath to find a basic Plains, which I'd really like to play this Mum off. Okay. All right. Ponder. What does Ponder do? Chose to not shuffle. But no... Oh, they played the land from Days. Okay. Caracas. Okay. I don't mind Caracas into Thalia. Because if we play the Caracas, they might want to just use a removal spell straight away on the Thalia before we untap with it. Which means then they don't have a removal spell for the Mum. Could also play the Mum, and then next turn hopefully have up Caracas Thalia. I actually don't mind that. I think pressuring with Mum's pretty good. Because seeing they only have an island, they have to use their other land here to maybe Fork Bolt or Chain Lightning or Lightning, or... We know what it's called. Lightning Bolt it. And if they don't get a basic here, we can Wasteland the Vault, which is nice. Opponent choosing between Mountain. Okay, they go for Mountain. Yeah, that's fine. Alright. Double Swords is pretty nice. I will go for Scrubland here. Play Thalia. No swords before Thalia. I didn't want to play either into Days. I'm definitely respecting a second Days here. Wasteland's fine. I wonder what they go after. Yeah, I do like keeping Caracas up here. It also means we can float mana that if they do want to cast something here, we can then use the mana for swords, but that's not going to happen. Interesting, they didn't cast that turn 1. Not too sure why. Right now it's the Delver that I care about. We'll play Wasteland. I don't want to play the Cradle because then that incentivizes my opponent to deal with the Thalia even more. Because it also turns off the Cradle. That's fine. Again, we have the swords for this one, which is great. Ooze is pretty nice. I'm going to start with swords. Like this. I could play around Force Negation, but I think this is okay. Oh, please don't have it. I could really play around Force Negation if I really wanted to, and I probably should have. Please be Force of Will. Nice. Giant hole where they found a ton of fossils. I did see that on the news. I haven't looked into it, but I would like to because that is pretty extraordinary. I do like that there's a lot of Australia that hasn't been discovered, especially from yeah, I know they found one in WA a few years back. which is pretty cool. This could be Submerge. Okay. That's fine. Two cards in hand for my opponent. I am from Australia. A Braid's actually fine because we have this Scavenging Ooze coming down. So if we could find another green source, we can make the Skoos a 4/4 straight away, which would be really nice. We can only hope. Another Sprite's really good. Now we need something really good, like a Green Suns for Scrib Ranger would be fantastic. Oh, Fairy Dragon. Please don't have days. Please don't have days. Oh, okay. I think we just named Dragon. I don't think... I guess Fairy also hits our Brazen Burrower. That's nice, because it's also another creature for Ooze to eat, which is pretty huge. Ah, sorry, yeah. I'm not playing Brazen Burrower, but they definitely could be. They didn't bolt the Plague Engineer there, so I assume they didn't find removal. Because then they could get an extra 1 damage in. Hex Drinker. That gives us an extra green, which is nice. And if they counter it, it's just another creature we can eat. This is definitely a race for the ages. Stomp. Okay. Now we just need a removal spell for the top. Ah, it doesn't do it. Cool race, though. Do I want to do anything here? I don't think so. Pretty happy just to run this back. I think the boarding is fine. But yeah, Sprite Dragon, really good. Sprite Dragon, a really nice threat for Delver decks. But yeah, interesting they cast the post-combat Sprite Dragon before. So we were effectively on 2 if they did that. Hey Victor, a huge thank you for the follow. Let me know where you're from. What are the matchups for Nissa? Mainly any sort of like hard control deck. I like Nissa because it gives Wasteland a second kind of role in the matchup. It's decent against the mirrors, so Maverick. It's pretty good against lands as well. Just for something that I want to be able to attack on sort of a second axis instead of just creatures. It's nice to have another creature. I was thinking about Garruk, Relentless, which is kind of nice because it makes the wolves as well. And it can kind of pod into silver bullets like Plague Engineer. But I haven't played it as much as I would like. I will keep this. Interesting though, how I actually want to play this out. I kind of want to go Verdant Catacombs pass so I can hold up Swords to Plowshares on a turn 1 Delver. Because if that's hit, then I can play turn 2 Silver Library if they do counter the swords, but I think this is fine. I also don't want to play into Wasteland, so I don't want to play the Canopy out. There's also a world where I can just play this slow. And if they play a turn 1 Delver, just untap. Okay. Interesting, their reveal days. Okay. Take this hit. Preordain's fine. Fetch for Scrubland. Swords this. I'm gonna force it pitching Sprite Dragon. That's pretty huge. That's kind of getting rid of a Sprite Dragon anyway. Another swords. Okay. We know about days. I think this is still okay. There's a world where I want to throw away this Sylvan Library to the days, so I could go Swords on Insectile Aberration, tap out for Sylvan Library. They most likely daze it, because then the following turn we get to follow up with Canopy into Choke, but then we're playing around days anyway. It's just a case of when do I want to get this Delver off the field, because I do have to get it off the field. And I also want to make sure that I'm not giving them enough time to draw into another counter magic spell. I think I have a turn. I think I have a turn where I can get this online. Just gonna see what the Preordain does quickly. One top, one bottom. Okay. Oh, Trop. I didn't think of Trop. Interesting. Now they have Whale. That's not the worst. But it is a second threat, which is pretty big. Abrupt Decay would be huge if I can find that. No. I think this turn is just Swords on Forager and play Thalia. Hey Hugh. Now it's a case of Wasteland on Trop or keep for Choke. I think Wasteland on Trop is better just to keep them off as many threats as possible. And also keep them off like Dig into Sprite Dragon of 4 lands. So we know one card is Daze. Alright. Go to 9. This also keeps them off something like Clothis if they don't have another green source, and if they are playing Clothis in the board. It's a pretty good card for Maverick. Okay, nothing. Another Choke. Don't want that. I do want to play around the Choke, around the Daze, so I don't want to play Ramen Up into it. If I play Ramen Up into it and they let it resolve, then there's a case of getting back Verdant Catacombs and getting a fresh shuffle. It could just be like, I mean, Bolt just kills us. I think because we know the top, that the only out to this is playing Ramen Up and seeing if they daze or not. Because if they don't daze and keep the daze for a removal spell on Insectile Operation, I'm happy for that. Okay. Blazing Volley's fine. Seeing that we have the second Thalia on top. Yeah. Alright, we get to dig once more. Draw the land, play the land. Alright, we got one more look. We know about choke, and then we know about two unknowns. Ooh, okay, that buys us a turn. We're still in it. Haha. Yeah, that's just it. Rough. Yeah, maybe the double chokes against Delver just isn't worth it. I do like double because then you get to see them more, but you could see there is a case of just not drawing the removal to clear the board before the chokes go down. Yeah, the chokes are pretty terrible on the draw where they do start on the on creatures. So you need to make sure that you have enough removal. I could see something like taking out the Nissa and putting in another path. That seems pretty solid. We are on the draw. Hey Sarah, welcome. Yeah, let's mulligan this. Yikes. One lander, double wasteland, one lander. Alright. Bottom, bottom. Island pass. Okay. At least now we have the second land for Thalia. Hey Echo, welcome. Yeah, Pluricanos was a an addition thanks to Matsol. Yeah, I am seeing a bit of path in the sideboard, which is nice. I'm playing the main deck Abrupt Decays, which are usually really solid, but it's just a case of finding them. So that's why I don't need the extra, like the 3 to 4 paths, but an extra one would be pretty nice. It's just always tough as well against decks where you're trying to take them off lands. If you're pathing them and giving them mana path isn't that great, especially against blue-red where they have the basics. This looks like it's just going to be a blue-red, a blue-white control. Sneak and show? Yeah, the preordain maybe is putting it towards it. Chose not to shuffle. Island. Another preordain. One top, one bottom. Preordain. Alright. 2 cards to the bottom. 4 cards left in hand. It could be High Tide. I'm going to assume it's not. Maybe they're holding up Intuition. If it was High Tide, I could keep the Green Suns for... Okay, it's going to be Blue-White, Blue-Green Omni. Uro is okay. We have the Scavenging Ooze for it, which is really nice. Sure. I will, yeah, I will use this mana, because then if this doesn't resolve, I can attack with the Dryad Arbor. Ooh. Eat that Uro, please. Nice. There is a world next turn if I draw a land, I'm just green sunning for Teeg. Nice. I will attack first. I am considerate of Ice Fang Quietal, so I am just going to attack for 2. I have seen Ice Fang in these lists. I'm not going to get a black source. The benefit of getting a black source is that if I draw into Plague Engineer, I can name Snake and then start attacking with everything. Maybe it is worth it. Haha, they do have Ice Fang. Please don't kill me. please don't combo off and kill me. Gaddock Teeg stopping shared summons is pretty huge. Verdant. Opponent has 5 cards in hand. City? Sure. It's a good wasteland target. Decay's pretty nice here. See if they do anything with the mana. Intuition, perhaps? Cunning Wish. Okay. Probably the bounce spell. Yeah, Sublime Epiphany. Which is interesting because they currently can't cast it with Teeg out. Veil's pretty good. Didn't think about Veil. I probably just want to attack with the Thalia here and hold up Dryad Arbor to draw a card with Night. In case they cast Show and Tell, I probably want to try to draw into Night of Autumn, which is a very slim chance, but it could also mean I have open Karakas if needed. How popular is this deck? I've seen a little bit of blue-green. It's probably... I've probably seen more blue-red because it is quicker, but I know like Nathan Lepetz has been playing around with blue-white as well. I would say in terms of popularity, I've seen blue-red at the top, and then probably blue-green, and then blue-white. Thought Teasers seem great. Force of Vigor seems great. Chokes are fantastic. Swords can probably come down. I'm probably going to cut the Plague Engineers first. Ramanap can come out. Sorry, Pelucanos, you can come out. And then probably just 2 swords. I don't mind keeping 2 swords for Uros and for Uro and Swords to Plowshares. This seems okay. Yeah, I've seen a bit of show. I think probably like 1 every 2 leagues I'll run into show and tell. Mulligan. Yeah. Pretty weak hand. Turn 2 Thalia. Once more. Ugh, even worse. But it does have... Maybe I want the users up. It might just be... bottom. I think this is okay. We went to 5 in game 1, so they are pretty slow, which is nice. Do have a few ways to draw out of it. I wish I knew. I've used Kaz Urban for a long time, but I didn't really have a reason. I think I used to use it for other gaming, and then I just stuck with it for MTGO. Choke's pretty nice. Choke kind of makes me want to just Green Suns here for Dryad Arbor. Because if they double cantrip next turn, I'm definitely going to try to slam Choke. Okay, that makes things a little bit different. Sylvan Library, sure. Well then. Still pretty happy to play Choke here. It means that if it resolves, it's fantastic, but if it doesn't, then at least the Sylvan Library might. And every cantrip here is making them have to really tap off an island, so... No, I just made it up. I don't know why I chose Kaz, but I kind of like Urban for some reason. But yeah, I should have put more thought into the name. I am happy that I didn't choose like Doogs or something that just gives away who I am for people that have seen the stream before. But yeah, an interesting one for sure. Alright, so they double buy. I really want to build a list with Rishadan Port that plays Choke. Even like one port over the 4th Wasteland. Noble. Does give the element a surprise, that is correct. Truth is pretty strong. This is a pretty bad spot where my opponent has 7 cards in hand, they have a Sylvan Library online. We don't have anything great to put in off the show and tell. And they're going down to 3, so they've obviously found what they need. Might as well not give away any information. And I assume they Cunning Wish, Shared Summons... Oh, they're going to Preordain first. Interesting. One top, one bottom. Two cards on top. Uro's pretty good. Ah, interesting. They can't cast it for free from the graveyard. They have to get it otherwise. Alright. There we go. Shared summons. Grizzlebrand Emrakul. I'm happy to run this back. Thoughtseize would be strong in the start. Obviously, just a good 7 would be nice. Especially against a combo deck. I do want to have as much advantage as possible. This is okay. Turn 1 Mum, turn 2 Teeg. And then hold the bird up for Force of Vigor, in case the Teeg doesn't resolve. So let's go for a Scrubland. Opponent kept 7. I'm just going to pass and respect Echoing Truth. I'm not going to attack with the Mum. Forest is nice. That turns on Night. And it can't be forced, which is even better. Could attack with the Teeg because it is a free attack, but I did just click straight past it. Yikes. I guess if they just have like Show and Tell, Omniscience, Emrakul, we can't beat that because the Teeg, funnily enough, turns off Force of Vigor. Chose to shuffle. Cast Ponder. Chose to not shuffle. Yikes. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Intuition. That's gonna do it. Rough. It definitely shows the matchup though. Interesting. Give him the Grizzle. Update score. Concede. Rough. Sometimes the cards just don't align. Yeah, Grixis would be sweet, but didn't have the time for it. Rough. But yeah, blue-green just a hard one to fight against. Unless you keep a hand with Thoughtseize into like Surgical on Show and Tell. That's a fine play, but it's definitely not a matchup that I will sideboard for aggressively. Hey Ganny, if you type exclamation point deck list, you can find the deck there. You can also see it on screen over here. You should be able to see it. Yeah, I think if I was going to run this back, I would just change the Nissa to an extra path. Probably the only change. Pretty happy with the rest. It's just a case of drawing the right side of the deck against the matchups where you do need to be pretty aggressive with how you attack their strategy. Obviously, if you draw like Swords to Plowshares against a deck like Show and Tell, it's going to be a tough time. But if you can draw your Thalias and your hate pieces, maybe Wastelands against the red versions, it can be pretty good. Could also play an extra Knight of Autumn, but I really like the Force of Vigors against lands, where they do have these aggressive starts of exploration into Valakut Exploration or Sylvan Library. So making sure you can shut down that pretty quickly is pretty favourable. And then also against decks like Moon Stompy and Urza, the Force of Vigors are quite nice. You just heard handgun fire down the street? Damn, basic swamps. What county do you live in? Literal shots fired. Southern Minnesota. There's something about hearing gunshots in like suburbia that just kind of freaks me out. To north? Yeah, I'm sure it has, especially in the US. Pretty crazy. Do need to get a shave as well. Look at that. Ugh. Really letting myself go on stream. Hopefully we can finish this out with a win. Blue green Omni just yeah, tough time. Used to live in Chicago? Nice. Alright. On the play. And yeah. Definitely a weird. I'm going to keep it. It's a weird hand. Hey, Moore, thanks for the follow. I'm just going to go Plains Pass. I do get hit here if they play like a Blood Moon by not fetching for a basic. But I do like holding up Swords to Plowshares. Yikes. Okay. Snow-covered island doesn't tell us much. That's crazy. From an outside perspective, I always thought that Chicago was like a nice place, but I've seen a lot of news reports about some of the things that go on in the city. That's pretty scary. Trop. Library's okay. Chicago has the highest rate of gun crime in the country. Damn, okay. That's kind of scary. They can't force this, which is nice. They have to daze it if they have the daze. They don't have a daze. Wow. That's crazy. I can't imagine that. Okay. Uro's fine. We have the Scavenging Ooze, which is fantastic. They didn't find a land either. So I really like hitting this trop. Yeah. Interesting. Even with the Sylvan Library. Maybe they just thought that their only way to win was through Scavenging Ooze. Alright. Alright, team. Let me know how you would sideboard. I'm going to quickly go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a second. Alright. In the blind, I like the chokes. I don't mind the Kaya either, and the Nissa. I'm going to take out the Engineers. Abrupt Decay. Actually, Teeg could be relevant if this is a Terminus deck. I'm going to take out a Cradle and a Wasteland. I think everything else is pretty good. A little bit rough having the Dried Arbor and the Green Suns in my opener. I'm gonna mulligan this. I'll keep this and bottom the Questing Beast. It's actually a pretty nice hand. Also allows us to go for basics early on, which is cool. I've got a new camera as well coming, which is nice. Get to go pick it up this afternoon. That should be fun. Verdant Pass. Sony A5100. I think it's what Anzi uses, which is kind of cool. Alright. Not as good as Julian's camera, no. I am just going to fetch a basic here. Julian got a really nice camera. I'm pretty happy to go for Thalia here over Library, but it's close. I think I'd rather get Thalia forced than my own Library. Okay, that's okay. This also means I can't cast like a turn 3 Teferi if it is banned. Yeah, drop bears are big. Drop bears are the big one to worry about. Land pass. Interesting. Happy to attack first. Yeah, drop bears are no joke. Drop bears are bloody scary. Please don't be a hull breacher deck. That would be pretty tough. They might even just like sword Thalia here, then force the library. Magpies? Petty theft. Okay. Interesting. Magpies, yeah. Plovers are the worst. Plovers go after you. I've definitely been chased by a few plovers in my time. Plovers. I like that chat's bringing out these names. Yeah, they do scream like... I hate it when it's quite dark. They're going down to 4? Wow. Insane. Really digging with library. Yeah, plovers are really scary, especially if you're going near a park where they live at night. I guess if they're... I'm pretty happy just to pay here as well. Probably just Thalia hold up Script Ranger. Especially seeing they're at 4. There's a world where I can, like, if they fetch, we can Script Ranger untap Noble attack for 3. Alright, they draw 1 card. There's the fetch. They go to 3. Okay. I guess Uro changes this, and there's a large case they have Uro. But if they have like Jace or something, I'd be more than fine to see that. Triple blue. Oh, are they keeping up? Oh, it is Jace! It is Jace and they're not tapping out. Oh my gosh. If they brainstorm here, I'm going to respond to the brainstorm because they've already played a land for turn, so I don't want them to find like a force. And at least if they force this, we then still have a live look of 3 cards of Sylvan Library and can find Questing Beast, which is still in the deck. They're really thinking about this Script Ranger. They're going to force it down to 2. Wow. Alright. Alright. I need some help here. I need some questing beasts in chat. If we can get some beasts going. I feel like one's on top. There's definitely enough to enough draw here to find a Green Suns. Oh, goodness. Oh, so close. Choke's actually pretty good though. I think we're just paying. We're pretty close to it. I will pay for the Pluricanos. Will they go to 1? They will go to 1. Okay. I would have loved to have had a second green source, but this is hopefully going to be okay. Hey Ben, we went down to Blue-Green Omni. Blue-Green Omni is kind of doing its own thing with Show and Tell into either both into Omniscience and then into either Intuition for a creature or Cunning Wish. And then there was a game against, I'm going to say Rug. Rug Delver, where they just had a lot of threats and they're pretty hard to beat. But we won game 1 against what looks to be BANT Control. They don't have the mana here to cast. Oh, Teferi, okay. Teferi bounce Noble, sure. Come on, Green Suns. Ah. Put on top, put on top. Wasteland. And then we can go Thalia. Noble. Noble. Wasteland. Terminus is pretty big here, but they need to find it off either a draw spell in our turn or have a miracle here, which they don't. So I guess a second green source allows them to get back Uro, which is pretty good for them. Pond is fine, especially at 2 mana. A land also means that I can play Pelucranos and then fight Uro, which is pretty cool. Alright, so they fetch down to 2 and then gain back up to 5. That's if they fetch for Uro. Surely. What's on top? We know about Knight, and I think another land. Ah, their lands don't cast Uro, of course, with the plains. Interesting. So with 2 cards left, they have to have a removal spell for Thalia. And it has to be instant speed, because they can't sorcery speed it. I guess they could, but that turns off the fetch land, because then we just deal 2. They're going to bounce the Thalia. Okay. Swords is nice. A fetch is actually really nice as well, because that means Dried Arbor. I don't mind... I can't really pay for this because of the Brazen Borrower. Maybe I don't care about the swords right now. I will attack them. For 2. If they have Ice Fang, they have Ice Fang. No. Interesting. Now Dried Arbor's lethal, so I'd love to see some sort of sweeper and just get in there with Dried Arbor. Yeah, they can't fetch for Uro now, which is really nice. They need to maybe find another Uro or find just a green land, which they probably have another trop, I assume. Supreme Verdict doesn't do it either because it doesn't hit Dried Arbor. Jace Bounce, that's going to be fine. Teferi tick up. Alright. Now, I do want to actually get Dried Arbor here because it means I have 2 threats that can deal damage instead of just dealing attacking with 1, because Exalted doesn't matter. It's just about trying to get as many threats in play that can attack and deal damage. Supreme Verdict at instant speed would be brutal. Brainstorm and Determinus. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. That did not end the way that I thought it would. It really didn't. Decktech. Yeah, deck was pretty fun. Didn't get to cast the Plukernos, unfortunately, but was pretty cool to have in the deck. I do like it in a mana heavy build where you can maybe cast it and then use it straight away. So having Cradle in the deck with it is really nice. I think going forward it's just going to be an extra path in the sideboard. Path really good against the Delver decks. Played against Delver 3 times tonight. And then played against the Control deck and blue-white or blue-green Omni. But overall pretty fun. Oh, nice. Whew. That's really it. I got nothing else. I am going to say, I do have the monthly Maverick coming out soon, which is a recap on March and April's top winning lists, going through Green-White Maverick, Punishing Maverick, Abzan Maverick, Green-White Depths, Green-White Black Depths, 4-color Maverick. So that should hopefully be out by tomorrow night. It's just taking some time, of course, to go through each one and say what I have to say. But yeah, that should be pretty cool. And then I believe the next matchup series is with Blue-Green Ninjas, which is really cool. Thanks, Gav. A huge thank you. If you want to find me on YouTube, you can find me here. All my videos are uploaded there, as well as YouTube exclusive content. So if you do like this, consider subscribing on YouTube, which is free, or following me here, which is also free. If you're on Twitter, you can find me here, and of course at the greensunzenith.com. Echo, you are more than welcome. A huge thank you to everyone who came in and watched. The new subs, the new followers, always appreciated. I'm going to send all of you over to the Legacy pit, who are currently playing some Legacy, which is pretty sweet. So I'll see you there. I might come on tomorrow to play. I do have a Humans League to do for a donation deck list, which should be pretty fun, which will be on my YouTube by tonight, maybe tomorrow morning, which should be pretty cool. But yeah, until then, be safe, enjoy your weekends, enjoy Legacy, and enjoy the Legacy pit. Cheers.